possibly, maybe. OBS says we're live. Let's see if Twitch says we're live.
I'm refreshing Twitch. Twitch says...
Yes, we are live.
Lovely.
Refreshing
There
Twitch.
we are.
We did it,
Okay.
fam.
Okay.
Hey, we're back.
There we go. Ah,
Okay.
Welcome back, everybody.
Alrighty.
How does everything sound? How does everything look?
yeah, let's just all know if there are any more robots we need to kill.
Right up there.
Alrighty. What were we doing?
I think you were about to do an animated disagreement with Professor Jones.
Right. Okay.
Yes.
Got it. Yeah, so I think it's been like a little bit of time since the last episode, so like I've been coming to your class and like talking and like staying late and like seeing all the stuff like I've I think I've probably come to class like once, and then I've come to the after class things like a few times now. And like it's been cordial. Like there's been a lot of like oh yeah, well, Professor Jones says this, and I've just been like, oh, that's cool. Like kind of stuff whenever like they start talking about like what they want to do and everything. And then I think today I think it's dramatically better if it's another class time, just because like it'll be like a bigger crowd. So like a week or so ago, I came just as like, oh, this is one of my like former students, and it was like, okay, hey, and then it was like, oh, like he's actually gonna come and like we're gonna talk about stuff next week, so make sure you show up there to see how like someone from like he works at City Hall and he deals with both Bantraphyll and the landowners, and see how like what kind of class is it again? It was is it like history, or is it
it's like history, maybe maybe some like political science.
Okay, yeah. So like yeah, coming to talk about like a mixture of like City Hall / how politics have changed or something like in the last few years or whatever, like yeah, some kind of just like guest lecture sort of thing. And yeah, and then I think I come and I start talking, and then you quickly realize that I'm starting to be like, so all the stuff you're learning in school, that's great, but action is where things are really meaningful, and so we're gonna stop talking, we're gonna start doing. And you're like and it's very quickly like, oh shit, what the hell is he trying to tell my students?
Gotcha.
Yeah, so that's definitely what you notice about me is I am very like I've been very polite and very almost like observing the past like week or so that I've been there, but now I like just turn left, and now I'm like, okay, so here's what's actually going on. Like rather than like instead of like being very very PR like in my talking about like the landowners, I'm just like super blunt, and I'm just like, look, the landowners are trying to take what's ours. That's bad. It's like, whoa, what the hell?
I mean, I'm not quite whoa, what the hell. I'm more like
yeah, it's just like it's like a very it's a turn from how I've been presenting myself, and like I don't know if the students are used to that sort of like, oh, none of our teachers are saying these sorts of things. Who is this dude? Because like, well, just like especially from the intro, there's a very big sense of like, at least publicly, it's like, no, everything's fine. We're still figuring things out. Like there's a lot of talks that need to happen.
I think you see Professor Jones, she's got just like this very like end of her patience look on her face, like, we need to dance around these topics. You are so aggressive.
The aggressive ones are the ones that usually end up writing history.
Or dead.
Is it better to be dead or live under the thumb of our lovely new overseers?
What do you notice about Professor Jones? You notice that she has not been getting enough sleep. There are baggy circles under her eyes, and she hides it well, but you definitely you've known her long enough to notice that she's not quite all the way there, and it's leaving her with less patience than she normally has.
Yeah.
So I think we stated our positions fairly well here.
Yeah, I'm like, actions speak louder than words. We need to fight back. Is my position.
And her position is sneak in the shadows and measure twice, cut once.
Yeah.
I think sums up her position fairly well. So here we are in this is in her classroom, like after class. It's like one of those lecture hall rooms, and I think it starts out with you giving this fiery speech. Basically, you kind of started to get things riled up when she has finally reached the end of her rope, and she stands up, both hands on the table, and is like, "Now I invited you here for a reason.
To talk. That's
This
what I'm
was
doing.
not it." All right, we're ready to conduct this here.
Yeah. So this one's cool. So everyone plays, and you and I are debating, and the rest of the players are the audience, who pose questions to us off the list of things.
And then award coins
Yes.
based on whose answer we like better. It doesn't have to be the best answer. It just has to be the one that we like the best.
Politics, everyone.
Exactly.
So, Dealer, would you like to go first, or would you like me to?
Sure. I would not mind going first. Let's see. So let's see. Yeah, let's just start here. Start with this. Start with the fun one. Please make a personal attack on your counterpart.
Yeah, I think this makes the most sense that I go ahead and jump in on this one.
Okay.
As she stands up and she's like, hold on, I can't remember your
Malik.
Malik, thank you. Also,
Malik Tugal is my full name.
Malik. Ooh, oh yeah. So she leans forward and she says, "Mr. Tugal, I think you have gone too far here. You and your petty rivalries are burning a hole in the minds of these impressionable youth. You think you can come up here and all fire, rile them up, but you will burn yourself as much as you will burn them. You are brash and unready for what you are saying and proposing. You don't truly know what you think you do. You're young and foolish."
Yeah, Malik kind of just like he's like I think he's at like what are they called? Lecterns, with like a hollow thing, and he just kind of like taps it a little bit and like swipes like a few things, and then like looks up, and just gives like a smile, and like, "Oh, I see, Professor Jones. Oh, okay." So, and he like he doesn't direct you. He doesn't address you. He addresses the class, and like, what Miss Jones wanted me to do was come here and talk about how nice everything is and about how everything's fine and dandy and how we need to, talk things out because that's clearly the best way to do things. As we've seen throughout human history, talking always solves every single problem. Obviously, Miss Jones has gotten soft and weak while she's up here in her ivory tower of the university. And lost touch is a good way to put it, has lost touch with the issues that the people are facing. But I'm very proud of the professor. She has a great position here, making lots of money, lots of great things going on for the professor. And it's great to discuss philosophies, but people down in the alleys, down in the gutter, philosophy doesn't mean much to them. So good for you, though.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna give just a bonus shout out to Angela for calling the kids impressionable youth to their faces.
So, who are you awarding the coin to?
But I think I'm gonna pass the coin to Malik. Here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really good.
That was perfect. Let's see. Well, that just kind of leads. Actually, no, I want to ignore that one because I want to give Angela a chance to redeem herself. So we're gonna start with Malik.
Okay.
Please explain how your position is best for the most people.
Okay. Yeah, and so I think he taps again and swipes over, and he probably grabs the thing and throws it up to the whiteboard or whatever, and it's a news story about how landowners are just coming through and be it's obviously phrased well because it's that it's not propaganda exactly, but it's a nice news piece on how oh yeah, the local park was retrofitted into a stadium, and then he swipes and local restaurants are now encouraged to cook exotic fares from across the sector, and he just lets it go almost on automatically just kind of stream through these sorts of articles, and then he just kind of gestures to it and then gestures back to the class and is when people come to a planet or to a country or really anything and use words for invasion that don't sound like words that don't sound like invasion, things like this happen. We have to give up who we are and be like who they are, because we're not as good as them. We're not as smart as them. We're not as cultured as them. But I disagree. I think you can't say who's more cultured or smarter or better, because these aren't things you can use to describe things like culture or the will of a people. I think that we all should stand up and protect who we are, because we are valid, and we can't just simply give in when someone says they own us now, because that's not how things work. I want all of us to be valid, not just what they say is valid. And I'm done, and
What I want for our people is more than what the landowners offer on silver platters. What I want for our people is a brilliance for Bantraphyll to shine on its own. cannot have that the way it stands now. And fighting a giant head-on will only result in us being squished like bugs. We need to fight smarter and quieter. Our job is not to let these people take our lives and livelihood without question, but instead to take back what is ours and to subvert them in every way possible. It's interesting to see some of those restaurants that claim to have off-world cuisine, and yet they still offer traditional Bantraphyll dishes at half price for those who know where to look for them on the menu. We're not giving up, and we are not giving in, but we cannot attack and not expect retribution. We need to subvert, and we need to be sly. You are proposing large, brash actions when we need small, directed ones. There are two ways to win a war. One is through infinite bloodshed, and the other is through careful reallocation of resources. One works out well for the innocents involved as they benefit from these resources as well. The other leaves them in the crossfire. And I do not want that for anyone.
I think Angela's compassion gets her the coin on this one.
Yeah. All right, who's asking that last question?
Umbra, you can if you have a good one.
Let's see. I might have one. Let's see. We've already kind of done this, the slogan at the start. So let's see. Yeah, this is a good one. Please explain how your position best serves the neglected interests of the underprivileged.
Yeah, I almost went with that one for my last one.
Yeah, I think Malik kind of like pushes away from the lectern and like walks up to he like walks up to like the front row to like where like the students are like sitting there and gets like real close to him and just kind of like leans in. So, students at this university, you've been studying, taking exams, talking and learning. You're adults now. You're old enough to see the way the world is, the way things really are. What do you think that those trying to push us down are more afraid of? And he takes a pen from one of them, like this, and then just like drops it. He doesn't actually have a weapon because that would be like a whole thing. But like this, and he like tosses the pen back, or the blade. This, and he picks up like a paper with like or like he picks up like a book that's like treatises and theories on Bantraphyll politics in the last century by like all these people or whatever. And it's like this thick book like this, and he like tosses it back, and then like, or the gun. All of you have the privilege of sitting here and discussing things, which is great. You should. But everyone in this city, everyone on Bantraphyll, doesn't have that privilege. They have to see all of this in their everyday lives. Jobs being taken away or given to them forcefully because now we need to go mine this grand new resource that's going to bring joy and riches to everyone. They can't sit around and just debate politics because they have to go to work, because they have to feed their families. They have to survive. Action gives people hope. It gives them something physical that they can touch, that they can hold, that they can do, rather than sitting around wishing for something to happen and talking about how great it would be if everything would just kind of work out. But that's not the reality for most people. For most people, they need to move instead of talk.
I am a professor of history, and I know a story from Earth, long past. There once was a nobleman who looked upon himself as a way of getting back at a false king by hitting trade caravans, collecting the taxes only, stopping corrupt sheriffs in their track, giving that money back to the people of the land. His attacks were swift and quiet on the cover of night. For many years, no one knew who was taking them out. That sort of quiet sabotage is what allowed him to bring the wealth back to the people. Were he to declare an open war upon the false king, would have been nothing left for any of us. And that is the situation here on Bantraphyll. You cannot expect us to just allow our open war to come out. Were that to happen, the TTA will interfere. And then you say you worry of forced work. At least it's here on this planet, where the TTA to catch wind of this fight, then people would be forced off planet, rehomed. We need to keep it quiet and contained if what we really want is peace for Bantraphyll.
Okay, so I think there is silence in the classroom for a moment. I guess everyone's just taking this in. Then we hear like a solitary voice from the back, and it's the kid that Ceres talked to earlier, the one who's like, "You guys like, swear off your nobility, so be one of us." And I think he stands up, and we see like the other like after school group stand up with him as well, and they just begin chanting, "Malik, Malik, 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 Malik."
That's it, all of you. Get out of my classroom.
Thank you for the opportunity, Professor. And then he like takes his little hollow pad and like gives her a little wave and just starts walking up the thing, up like through the auditorium.
Yeah, I think there's definitely like one or two people that follow you on your way out.
But I think it's pretty clear that 2/3 of the after school group side with Malik, and only 1/3 wish to continue the quiet warfare that Professor Jones is proposing.
Well, so it goes. So it goes.
Sorry, prof.
More like sorry, not sorry.
Yeah. And that's kind of why you wanted to be there.
Exactly.
So, do we
leave
have
those
time
kids
for any more
alone?
games, Kelsa?
I think we've got time for one more. Did you have something in mind?
I do not, if you have something you'd like to do.
Yeah, I think actually I would like to have a stealing time together with Malik immediately following this discussion. This is where she
Oh my.
leaves out the
Oh
other
my.
she leaves out the other door and comes around, and as Malik is going through the hall,
Mhm.
like you
I think
feel
we see like as you're coming out, we see him like waving as the students like leave, clearly he was talking to the students that followed him out, and we see them like holding things that he gave them, like cards or whatever. And he just like I hope to see you all soon, and he just gives a wave and then like does like a tapping on his pad. Like he doesn't notice you approaching at all. He's just like, oh yeah, things are going great, and
yeah, and then it just so happens that you're like right outside of her office, like
Yeah.
when this happens, because it's near this particular classroom, and like her hand's on your shoulder and just like steering you into her office. It's very insistent that we have a conversation in private right now. So let me skip over to stealing time together. Okay. Brilliant.
Is there a chance that you could be caught together?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay.
I don't think her door. I think these doors are like on an electronic control. She can't lock them.
Oh yeah.
Like they lock at night.
Right, because
but
office
like
hours.
yeah, she like during her like mandatory office hours, she cannot lock the door.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. That's really good.
Right. And it's like
Yeah.
it's like right in the middle of your office hours, or like they start right after your class or something. So like it's just like
Right.
yeah, office hours. Any student can feel free to just walk in whenever they want.
It's fine. It's just not a
Or
it's not a
superiors
problem.
or anybody, you know.
Don't worry about it. So yeah, at any time you can make us throw and have us be discovered. So yeah, so she leads you into her room and closes the
I think
room,
he's just like,
her
"Huh, what?"
office,
And
and
then just,
closes
like,
the door.
It all just kind of happens. Like
Mhm.
1 second he's like swiping and like setting appointments, and then the next he's just in an office. Like what? Professor, hello again.
I don't appreciate what you did there, Malik.
I did what you asked me to do.
You are. These children are over eager to throw their lives away.
They're not children. They're adults. They can make their own decisions.
When their decisions are to kill themselves and get their families killed as well, I'm not so certain that they are adults.
Well, they haven't had any power or any voice for a while. Now they do.
That's not entirely true. I loosen my own clothing. She's going to start unrolling her sleeve. May I?
Yeah, you may.
So she unrolls her sleeve to the elbow, and she turns to show him the tattoo on her inner arm of the compass, and says, "You may recognize this symbol." And I think that you do. Like it clicks finally.
Mm-hmm.
Other mobile frames of other resistance cells, you've seen them spray painted with this symbol before. So you know
Mm-hmm.
that this is a symbol of the resistance. And she says, there is more than one way to skin a cat. You think they have no outlet? No, they do. We do.
I think like Malik, like his head kind of tilts and is like seeing that, and he like steps forward, and then I think he's like, "Is that?" And he like puts his hand out. I want to touch your arm where the tattoo
You
is.
may. You may.
Yeah. So like he like takes your arm a little bit, and then it's kind of like put like his fingers trace along like the circle of the compass, and like.
It's the direction of Bantraphyll.
Huh.
You recognize this symbol, don't you?
I do. I've seen reports. Like he's probably a little flustered now. So like that was clearly not the truth. Like I've from work I've read reports and like I've
yeah,
read
and
reports.
I think that she turns it around. Like you've been like holding her arm, and she turns it around to grab your arm instead. May I?
Yeah.
And so she grabs your arm in place, and she says, holding it not threateningly, but not in a friendly manner either.
Mm-hmm.
And she says, "You're not being honest with me, Malik. I thought we were past this." I think he pulls his hand out of yours, and he like reaches to his suit. I loosen my own armor or clothing. May I? Yeah, she raises an eyebrow but lets you continue.
You hear footsteps. Go ahead and throw on Tales You're Discovered.
Let's see what it is.
I realize I'm not in the Roll20.
Here I can do a D. I'll do a D2. Like one is heads, two is tails.
Yep.
Okay. One is heads, two is tails. One. We're not discovered.
Keep going.
I think there's a tense moment though, where you hear footsteps. You both get very quiet and still, and then the footsteps recede.
Yeah. So I think like Malik, like he like has again, it's like that weird like futuristic suit where it's like not the thing isn't here, it's like over here, and it kind of like as it comes down on an angle, and so he like undoes that, and like pulls it off. So like now the jacket's just like kind of hanging on him, and he's got like a not like a dress shirt underneath. Like again, like it's like he has like the dress shirt on over like pretty casual clothing, just kind of like almost like a like I wear this, but I'm not like totally into it. I'm not like he doesn't have like a button-up shirt underneath and like everything. He's got like
it's got like a band T-shirt.
Yeah, some like a band T-shirt or something underneath that. Yeah, so the jacket's hanging off him. You see like the band logo or something just kind of through the opening. And he reaches and pulls out a card and gave most of these to your to the students, but got one or two left. And he like kind of like holds it out, and it's got like the gravitas symbol on it, that like line and like an arrow kind of like forcing down. And like when like basically like he like holds it out and like puts a little bit more pressure on it, and when pressure's applied, like the logo like moves and it becomes a location and a time. And then he like releases the pressure and it just like it comes back to the logo. And seems like we're both hiding some things.
Yeah, I think when she takes the card, she touches your hand. May she?
Yes.
Yeah, and it just a little bit like running her finger along his palm as she takes the card off. And she looks at it, examines it very carefully. I see.
Your words aren't entirely lacking merit. Obviously, we can't just throw everything at both the Bantresh and the landowners and expect change to happen, but I'm just tired of sitting around watching everything happen and then hoping something's going to change. I had to take action.
I place my hand on your shoulder, may I?
Yes.
So she puts her hand on his shoulder and she leans a little bit closer and she says, we have very similar goals. And I want to see them reach fruition. Both of us together have this chance. And Merrick, I don't want to see you injured any more than I want to see it happen to any of my students. What you lack is patience.
Let's see, what's the best one? I think he's gonna get a little forward and like when you like say what you lack patience, and like before you can like say anything else, he pushes a finger forward to like stop you from talking. I touch your lips, may I?
You may, but only for a moment, and then I break off and depart. So you shush her, and she just kind of shakes her head, and she tucks the card into her breast pocket of her her suit jacket, and just walks past him out the door.
Oh, he doesn't get to say what he was gonna say. Darn it! It was so good though.
No, she's just gonna leave.
Yeah, then like, you're like,
I guess you'll have to talk to her some other time.
yep. He gets the suit like put back up together and kind of like straightens it out and just shakes his head and then heads out and like whatever way she went and left out the office, he goes the opposite direction.
Do you like say your bit to yourself as you're leaving?
I don't think he says anything after that. Like he was about to, but she just left, and so we're like, yeah. I think it's just like a deep sigh as he like gets his clothes back together and heads out.
Perfect. And that's time. So thanks to technical difficulties, we only got through 3 scenes today. But next week, we're gonna make it work and we're gonna do it right.
I hope so.
Oh God, I hope so. I figured out how to stream it from my MacBook, so next time I can just do that. Hopefully I can figure out what's going on with my PC, or my new one will arrive before then. But well, next time I'm going to be streaming from Go Play Northwest. But anyway, figured it out. Do it right next time.
Yep.
Shout outs for the peeps.
Yo.
Tux,
do we want to do our questions too?
Oh, dude, yeah, we need to do our questions. Please. My question is, what was Malik about to say?
What was I about to say?
Find out next time.
And I have one that's really important. What does it mean when CH4 dies?
Oh yeah, totally. I think now that the more radical ideas have spread into the university, and like Ceres is starting to like dip her feet into that pool, like where is she gonna fall now that she's starting to want to learn more about it? Like now that both ideas are kind of prevalent, where is Ceres gonna fall in that line of thought, if at all?
Okay, and I think my question is, what does a few isolated spats really mean?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. That's a good one. Okay, now we can move to shout outs because I'm the best at streaming forever. Tux, you have been so kind as to help take up the hosting duties when my technology failed me. Please pimp yourself.
I'll pimp myself awesomely. So, thank you again for hanging out with us today, even through the technical difficulties. We got things figured out, and we got some great scenes after that. So thanks again for hanging out and sticking around for Love and Bantraphyll. I'm Tux. If you want to check out some of the stuff I do, I'm on Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube. All of them are the site /Tuxtradamus. Today we have 2 shows over on the channel. We have the finale of Smooth Criminals, our Blaze in the Dark show, where we're going to do some like closing things, some vignettes. It's not going to be like actual Blades. It's going to be a lot of like, where are they now kind of stuff, and kind of talking about the show and stuff and everything. So that'll be pretty cool. And then at 8, so let's see, that is 1 hour from now we have the finale. 5 hours from now we have the Perimeter, which is an Urban Shadows show on the channel, and it's our 2nd episode, and we did a bunch of stuff last time, so we're getting into some we have stuff to come into and figure out what the heck happened last time. And then Wednesday nights we have Longfall, so that is also a fantastic show. It won't be next week. I've got another thing that I have to do stream wise, but once we return from that the week after, we actually have some stuff to resolve there too, because crazy stuff happened at a party, so that'll be a lot of fun. And yeah, thanks again. Thank you all for playing today with me, and yeah, a lot of fun. Firbrands is super cool.
Firbrands is super cool. How's about Umbra? Dealer Umbra, tell us a little bit about yourself and your face.
Hi, this is my face. As for myself, I do a few things on the internet. My schedule's going to get a bit of a major change starting from next week, so we'll see when things happen. But generally, you can find me at Dealer Umbra on almost everything. Probably more things than I'd like to admit. But mostly Twitch and Twitter, where I ramble about things and occasionally play some video games. On Wednesday, well, Wednesday evening for me, Wednesday morning for you, Kelsa. We're playing in a Burning Wheel game called Burning Wind, set in the lovely world of Patrick Rothfuss's Killer Chronicle. And we're having a lot of fun, aren't we? It's been all around good time.
And yep.
Yeah.
No one's gone crazy.
Yeah, we've all been very conscious.
That sounds very sincere, I believe, both of you.
Yeah, generally it's been a lot of fun, and I think we're moving towards like an arc finale this next week, so that should be a lot of fun. Aside from that, I tried to do a bit of playtesting on my own channel. I've had some fun with Girl by Moonlight, which is a Blades hack where you play as magical girls. Played that twice now, and it's been fun. So I'm gonna try to give that another go sometime this week or this upcoming week. And outside from that, we'll see. But that's me.
Perfect. Sandy, do you got anything cool going on?
I'll keep this short and sweet. I don't do jack anymore because I'm studying for a big old test in August. So you can, if you want to, follow me here on Twitch or on Twitter at Astani. But why bother? Because I don't do anything. I did make all the art for this, and
yes.
I did used to stream a lot of board games. So if you're into that, you can check the backlogs on my Twitch channel. Also,
Perfect.
Thank you everyone for hanging out and bearing with us with our technical difficulties and all that. And I had a lot of fun, especially with that whole thing with Umbra.
Yeah.
That's so
Yeah.
good. I love that.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
fun.
that's fun.
I'm Kelsa. This is my show. You can find me on Twitter at Kelsa, on Twitch and YouTube. It's Kelsa Delphi. They already mentioned both the shows that I'm going to be on in about an hour. We've got Blaze in the Dark over on Tux's channel. After that, conflicting with Tux's other show, I'm going to be playing D&D 5th edition normally on AP Gaming Reels channel. But actually, tonight we're doing a special one-shot of Stars Without Numbers, and I'm very excited about that. On Wednesdays, I'm in 2 shows. Both of them were already mentioned. We've got The Burning Wind with Umbra on RP Glory's channel, and then with Tux, Open Legend, which is Longfall, where I am an adorable owl cat cop and do more cute, adorable voices. So I also want to give a quick shout out to Mushy Tales. I really appreciate you dropping everybody's links in the chat. Super appreciate it. How do you find my channel? It's a mystery. You're already here. You just click the follow button. That would be fantastic.
Yes.
If you're watching me on YouTube, subscribe or whatever. Normally we end out the show by putting back on